Hey, let's talk about holsters really quick. I have been carrying a little controversial the last couple months that I've been on my bike because, let me show you why. I am using 3 different holster setups, and each one of them has a lot of pros and a whole lot of cons. Ultimately, when you carry holstered on body, it's a very personal decision. You've got to consider your lifestyle. You've got to consider the activity you're going to be engaging in, what your true risks are, how accessible that firearm is. There's a whole list of questions you got to ask yourself when you decide what is the right way for you to personally carry. For me, I have chosen to carry, most of the time I'm carrying a smaller firearm, and I did verify and unload these firearms. Always make sure your guns are unloaded before you handle them at any time. So I have been carrying a Kel-Tec 380. As you can see, it's a super tiny gun. Lots of jokes about it. Most people think it's a pretty garbagey gun. Whatever. It does not hold a lot of rounds. I can get 6 in here and 1 in the chamber. I'm not carrying with a second magazine. Again, that's a decision I've made. I am wearing a lot of this. Let's be real. I am. Y'all see me. Y'all see how I dress. So when my magazine is in here, I did for a while, many years ago, carry in the small of the back. So you've got this little clip here on the gun. I wish it was on this side of the firearm because then I could just put it right here and that would be amazing. You can see why this would probably be a very controversial way to carry. If I was carrying in the small of my back, I could have the firearm here and I'm like this, okay? Obviously, there's a lot of potential problems here. The gun is pretty easily accessible. My trigger's not covered. The gun is just in my waistband, much like you would put an ink pen into your pocket. So anyways, like I said, that's how I've chosen to carry. Works for me. I've run it through my filter. I am carrying it in a sticky holster. Again, really controversial. So the firearm just sits in there. Yeah, the trigger's covered, but there's literally nothing retaining the gun in here. It's staying only because the holster is molded around it, but that pretty easily comes out. This holster does not affix to my clothing in any manner. I simply slide it in like this and I go. For me, the pants are really tight, so it's compressing it into my body. As you know, as I've been showing in videos a good bit, I've been carrying in more of a 4 o'clock position. It lets me wear the crop tops if I want to wear the crop tops, and then I can put a layer on over it, and you don't know I've got the firearm there. So for me, it serves a purpose. If I do need to draw, I'm here. I'm not sweeping myself, and I'm coming straight out to the threat. So this works for me. I'm not going to run around and do cartwheels. I am not gonna run from bad guys. I mean, I'll probably try and retreat, but there's a reason I'm carrying. It's because I am okay defending myself should it come to that. Again, the gun is just there. It's there. It can fall out. There's all kinds of things. If you start looking up these holsters and carrying this way, you're gonna read tons of reasons why you should not do this. Again, for me, I ran it through my filter of pros and cons, of risk and benefits. It works for me. So I'm gonna carry in this manner. Another way I have been carrying, which is a pretty common way that I carry, y'all see this method quite a bit. I carry this way often, especially when I'm dressing more professional, more real estate professional. I tend to wear bloused tops. So I will carry in a corset holster. I'm gonna remove this. And it sits right here, sits right below the breast. When I carry this way, I do carry my larger firearm, my P365. Much larger capacity, round capacity. I've got 12 plus 1. And then I have a second magazine that I can carry that's 11. So I'll carry this. My spare magazine, I did not unload, so I'm gonna leave it away from the video, but I'll carry my spare magazine here, and I can get a knife and a flashlight in here, which is awesome. This is the zipper of the pants. The gun does not hang out the bottom. So as you can see, when I've got on a bloused top, this hides really well. It's totally concealed. You don't know it's there. I do have a little bit of limitation with the draw. If I'm not super careful, I can draw that firearm and actually sweep myself. And then when I go to present it, if I'm not being really careful, I can sweep everybody in this quarter of the circle. So you really want to practice that draw. Again, the gun is not latched in here. The trigger's covered, but it's just fabric. It is tight, but there are some limitations to that. I can jump up and down and the gun is not popping out. Again, this works for my lifestyle. This works how I tend to carry, how I tend to operate. I'm not gonna carry like this though when I'm on my motorcycle and I'm under a whole lot of layers when it's cold, because if you have ever felt a leather motorcycle jacket that has armor in it, doing this motion and clearing a garment, it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna clear. My leather motorcycle jacket is not gonna rise up like this when I pull it. So there's some very serious limitations. I do tend to carry like this on the bike. I carry here. And you will find a whole lot of people that say you should not carry that way on a motorcycle, because if I were to go down on my bike, granted I am banking on landing like this on my back, or the gun might fire. There's all kinds of concerns. Carrying is very personal. What holster you carry is even more personal. You need to make a list. You know, what activities am I going to be doing when I have the firearm in this manner? What are the potential risks? What are the benefits of carrying this way? I am very, very, very comfortable with this carrying method. I have been carrying like this, like I said, for the majority of the last 2 months. I've made the decision I'm going to carry less rounds on my body. And like I said, it works for me. It's a very personal decision that has worked fine for me. And I'm going to continue to carry that way. It may not be the right decision for you. So talk to me. Let's talk about the way you're trying to carry, and I'll help you figure out if it is, right or wrong for you. All right, y'all stay safe.